What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can pop, beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And please, if you have not done so yet, click that link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, a lot of backlash going on right now, family, in this whole situation with Kamala Harris and the hurricane that took place that hit North Carolina, Georgia, and a few other places. You got a lot of people out here that's really fed up with just the way the Democrats has been running the country, especially given the new knowledge that FEMA does not have the money to take care of the American citizens throughout the rest of hurricane season due to the Democratic Party and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris authorizing FEMA to spend $1.4 billion for these illegal invaders. And this is where we're at, family. So Kamala went out to Augusta, Georgia, and she had a press conference out there speaking about the FEMA relief that people would be getting, and everybody said the same thing. What? Let's jump into it, family.
And I want to thank the local leaders for together creating a task force-like response, knowing that we are at our best when we work together and coordinate resources, coordinate our communications to the maximum effect for the community that has been impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online. And I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just basically verify your address, and then the process should take hold. FEMA is also providing tens of thousands more dollars for folks to help them be able to deal with home repair, to be able to cover a deductible when and if they have insurance, and also hotel costs. Today I'm also announcing that the President has approved the Governor's request for 100% federal reimbursement of local costs.
Hey, check this out.
So that's where we are, family.
And I want to
That's where we are. They're out here offering $750. $750. And then come to find out, a lot of the people who applies are being denied. And if you guys didn't know, I was actually stuck out here in Hurricane Beryl in Houston, Texas, and we were without power for about 8 days or so. So just imagine what happened with the food and things like that. Fast forward past that situation when they said they were going to end up giving the hurricane relief, they also offered $750 to us. And what happened was, when I applied, I was denied. Now, my two neighbors, they both received theirs, and we all had the same condition. So it's like they pick and choose who they want to give it to and who they want to deny. And whenever they deny you, they try to give you some lame excuse. Like when they denied me, they say, well, we don't cover the loss of food and things like that. But when you looked at the application spoke about the things that you can apply for, and one of those things was loss of food. And then my neighbors, they actually received theirs due to loss of food and having their power out, just like me. So I think that what they're doing is just, they're picking and choosing, trying to figure out, not really figure out anything, but really they're just picking and choosing in order to say that they're funding people. And even if they are funding people, they're probably funding very little of people. But I truly, and this is my personal experience, so when people say that they're not getting the funding, or they say they're being denied of the funding, I believe them wholeheartedly. I believe them wholeheartedly, but the pure amount of the funding is a slap to the face. It's a slap to the face. She's talking about at times are hard, we have to work together and all this other stuff. They didn't give any of that work together nonsense to those illegal invaders when they got here, did they? Oh no, they just started cutting checks. They started putting people in hotels. They started feeding people, and they were throwing millions of dollars of food in the trash can unopened. They was over here trying to get them work visas and things like that. Let them work, Eric Adams used to say. If you get people into your city and they don't have nothing to do, all you're doing is bringing in crime, this, that, and the third, and people, they just sit around all day. You gotta give them work permits. You gotta let them work. Now Eric Adams is sitting somewhere with an indictment on him. But nonetheless, I digress. The $750 is an insult. While illegal invaders who aren't citizens of our country, who haven't paid into the system whatsoever, is given thousands of dollars a month. While they're receiving thousands of dollars in food stamps a month, while they're receiving free housing for a year, while they're receiving the ability to go and purchase homes without a credit check or anything like that. $750. This is what they offer the American. Now, they don't have money for reparations. And now they don't have money for FEMA. But they got money to spread everywhere else. And so, the lamestream media does what it does. It came out doing what it do. And when it do what it do, they try to smear the water around, They trying to make it look like something ain't there that you seen with your own eyes. You didn't hear what you heard with your own ears. No. We're gonna move this around. We're gonna muddy the water so that you don't know what's going on. And so what they ended up doing is what? Tried to claim that it was a false narrative that FEMA ran out of money. And it was a false narrative that was put out by Donald Trump. And it says right here, Donald Trump FEMA claim debunked. Agency not running out of money because of migrants. And we ain't even going to read this because we already know that they are. We know that they are because they have been reporting. Man, they've been reporting this for almost 4 years now. Now this happened. Now the hurricane happens, and they're all screwed up. They're all screwed up. So what are they trying to do now? Just like they tried to say Kamala Harris wasn't the border czar, that it was nothing but the Republican network saying that she was the border czar, even though it was the Democratic news networks that labeled her the border czar, that literally played any chance they got the fact that she was the border czar. So just like how they tried to say, oh no, Kamala Harris was never the border czar. Now they're trying to say that FEMA never gave funding for the settlement of these illegal invaders. But that's why, my friends and family, we have the new black media. We hold no punches. And no, we're not going to let people forget. We're not going to let people forget, especially when we have the evidence to prove it. We have the receipts, we have the invoices, especially when we have the invoices. Feds say there's no money left to respond to hurricanes after FEMA spent $1.4 billion with a B on migrants. Oh no, we're not going to let them forget. FEMA is running out of funding. DHS Security Mayorkas set warns. Security Mayorkas. Maybe we should, allow. Give me a second here. Because they come out and they try to say, oh no, this isn't happening and these people are playing games. Ron DeSantis calling out Kamala Harris and Joe Biden for using that FEMA money. And Kamala Harris tried her hardest to make it seem like it was all about playing political games with him. Now, I don't like Ron DeSantis, never have, or I'm pretty sure I never will. However, calling out the head of the country for fumbling the bag when it comes to disaster relief for the American citizens, that isn't playing political games. So let's hear what she has to say. Because here's the thing. Kamala says one thing, and I don't think that her and Biden are having conversations, because Biden comes out and says something totally different from what Kamala said. I don't know why. Maybe because he's not really rocking with Kamala Harris. Maybe because he's not really rocking with Kamala Harris. Everybody saw that picture of him with the Trump hat on. Now, I mean, I would never put on a Trump hat. And I bet he felt right at home when he did so. Because, Joe Biden's a racist as well. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I don't think that they're talking to each other. But when they're getting called out about this FEMA stuff, I want you to see the two reactions. You have one where someone is trying to play a political game while claiming another person is playing a political game, and the other person just comes right on out like, I don't know what she's talking about. Let's continue. Let's check it out. One second, family. I don't know why it's tripping. Family, I don't know what's going on with this one here, but we could move past this. I'm pretty sure you can look this up. But anyway, while everything is going on, everything that's happening with the hurricane and things like that, right? you have Kamala Harris going on a defensive. And she's talking about they're so concentrated. They're very concentrated on the people who were hit hard and are in immediate need when it comes to this hurricane. Now, if that was so true, you wouldn't see Kamala Harris going to do interviews with podcasts like Call Her Daddy, which is a Freaknik podcast. See, I'm kind of seeing the pattern here, because she did an interview with Uncle Luke, the guy who basically created the Freaknik. And then she goes and do another interview with somebody who does nothing but talk about freaky situations on their podcast. But she is laser focused on the victims of the hurricane, right? From what I see, it doesn't really show that. It doesn't really show that. But let's get to this FEMA situation once again, because it gets very, very murky when they try to then turn around and say, oh, well, we never said we ran out of money. So this is from a few weeks ago. FEMA sparked outrage after admitting it has no funds for hurricane relief after spending $640 million on migrants. And like I showed you here, the number has upped. However, like I said, they got money for everything else. Biden announced the other day that they're going to be shoveling $157 million in humanitarian aid in response to Lebanon crisis. Why are you giving away our funding when literally the American citizens need the funding? Cut off the purse. Nobody is supposed to get that funding over the American citizens. But yet, Biden says, here you go, here you go, here you go. But wait, there's more. Israel, Ukraine, Lebanon, illegal invaders. But wait, there's more. But when it comes to the American citizens, when it comes to reparations, hey, wait, there's no more. There's no more. Look, guys, look, I understand where you guys are coming from, but we just ain't got it. We had to give all your money to Lebanon. We had to give all your money to Israel. We had to give all your money to Ukraine. We had to spend your FEMA money on these illegal invaders. So you shouldn't be mad at us. No. What you should be mad at is Donald Trump. Because if it wasn't for Donald Trump, well, I can't really think of a reason why, this is Donald Trump's issue, but it's still Trump's fault. This is where we're at, people. They want us to ignore what our eyes and our ears tell us from what we see and what we hear with our own eyes and our own ears. They want us to say, now, look, I know you saw this and I know you heard this, but you know what? I'm going to change the script now. So don't you go around here remembering the old script. This is a new script that I got. And this new script that I have, it's going to tell you left and right that you're wrong. We're going to call you a misinformation disinformationalist. People love to go around spreading misinformation, disinformation. Especially when talking about the policies of the Democrat. So we don't want you getting caught up in that misinformation, disinformation. So don't you remember that old script? Here's our new script, and this is what we're going to be going off of for the remainder of the election. No. I say no. So Karine Jacques-Pierre, the Haitian boot lip tap dancer, she gets asked a very simple question and a very good question. It wasn't even a bad question. You know, a lot of Republicans, they come with these bad faith arguments, and a lot of Democrats come with bad faith arguments. But in this situation, I'm going to give it to the Republican who asked the question, because it wasn't a bad faith argument. So let's get into the little White House situation. I know that if you ain't seen it, you're about to see it now. Karine Jean-Pierre leaves, it should say storms out, because she stormed out. Leaves briefing after Ducey question. Ducey, excuse me. Questions Lebanon funding during hurricane season. Let's get into it, family. And this just goes to show you. Let's
head to the White House. Peter Ducey is asking questions of Karine Jean-Pierre. Let's listen.
Home, who are wrongfully detained and held hostage. And again, frankly, we have had an extraordinary record of doing just that. And that's going to be the president's top priority.
And on this issue of funding, the administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back. But Congress does have to come back to approve money to send to people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Here's what I'm going to be very clear about. The president and the vice president has had a robust whole of government response to this. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I said it at the top, more than $200 million that we have directly put towards survivors here for disaster help. And that's because of this president's commitment to make sure that we are there for communities that are impacted. We take this very seriously again. We take this very seriously. And before the hurricane hit, we pre-positioned more than 1,500 federal folks on the ground to help. And so we have made sure that every state has gotten their storm requested emergency declaration. They requested it, and we made sure they received it. We've taken this very seriously. More than $200 million that we have provided to the impacted areas. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous. Because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need.
Look at the look on that man's face. Well, you can't see it now, but when I go back, the look on his face is like, what the hell are you talking about, lady? I have the same look on my face. Look at this man's face. What the hell? My apologies, family. I don't know what happened there. But of course, Murphy's Law, anything that could go wrong will.
Has gotten their storm requested emergency $200 million that we have provided, which is dangerous, because then it.
But look at the dude's face.
When folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus here.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir.
I don't like
What
the way
do-
you asked
yes,
that question.
Yes, it's misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. People are deciding not to.
President sent a letter to Congress that there's not enough money to help people.
She just tried to lie and said people are deciding not to apply for disaster relief. What kind of sense does that make, family? What kind of sense does that make? I don't know what's going on with this damn website, family. But what sense does that make? It makes no sense. You're telling me people have their houses destroyed, cars totaled, all kind of nonsense, food spoiled, power without power. Some people are still without power. And you're telling me that people are deciding not to try to get the emergency funding? Somebody's trying to make an ass of somebody, and it ain't gonna be me. And my family, don't let it be you either. That makes absolutely no sense. So now they're just outright lying. So let's continue. Because this is ridiculous, family. It's off the
Let's head
top
to the White House.
ridiculous.
Values. There's not enough money right now for
His
people in
values,
North Carolina who
his-
need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation.
Because she don't like the way a question was asked, it's misinformation, disinformation. So that's where we're at right now. If you ask a question for clarification purposes, knowing the truth about everything that's going on, then all of a sudden it's misinformation, disinformation. And he's right. You can't call a question you don't like misinformation because you don't want to answer the question.
Sir, what you do? Yes,
Which
it's misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. People are deciding not to.
President sent a letter to Congress that there's not enough money to help people in
We're
North
talking
Carolina.
about the SBA disaster loan.
That's
yes.
money for people in North Carolina.
And that's important, and people in North Carolina need that. Wait, this is nothing new.
Notice what she's talking about. She just switched it to the SBA disaster loan. Now that loan was given out during the time of C-19. I don't even know the relevance of that being brought into this situation because they no longer give out that loan. And even if that loan was going towards the victims of the hurricane, it's a loan. It's not a forgivable loan. It's still a loan.
Peter, this is nothing new. Congress comes together, they provide money, millions of dollars, for disaster relief. We're asking them to do the job that they have been doing for some time.
From a letter that President Biden sent to Johnson, McConnell, Schumer, and Jeffries. The president's letter is not misinformation. Would you agree?
No, the way you're asking me the question is misinformation.
The way you're asking me the question is misinformation. See, this is what I was telling people when they started this disinformation campaign. There is no such thing as disinformation, misinformation. Either information is true or it is not true. Information is information. And either you can corroborate that information or you cannot corroborate that information. When you have the ability to corroborate that information, you cannot call it misinformation or disinformation. I was deplatformed from Instagram and Facebook when C-19 came out. When I was putting up all the different documents that was coming directly from the CDC. And they were calling it and labeling me a misinformation pusher, a disinformationalist. So basically, all that term has become is literally in all it's ever been. It's like the word conspiracy theorist. Whenever a person, and that was something that the CIA did, they went around and made it a stigma. It was either CIA or FBI. They literally made conspiracy theorist a stigma so that whenever someone is actually calling out issues within the government and what the government is doing, all they have to do is slap that conspiracy theorist title on a person and people don't want to listen to them. And that's all misinformation, disinformation is. That term in itself is just a stigma to put on people who actually will not back down from what's really going on, who have the actual facts. There's no such thing as misinformation or disinformation. There's only information, and you have to figure out whether it is true information or false information, whether it is factual or whether it is not. I just had to get that out because I get so upset about this misinformation, disinformation nonsense. Let's continue.
There's money that we are allocating to the impacted areas, and there's money there to help people who truly need it. There are survivors who need the funding, and it's there.
That you don't like misinformation.
I said that. I actually said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton. Now, there's going to be a shortfall, right? Because we don't know how bad Hurricane Milton is going to be. And so we're going to need additional funding.
So why the hell didn't you just say that in the first place? You went through this whole long rigmarole of nonsense instead of just coming out and saying, hey, there's going to be a downfall to this. We're going to need additional funding. Now, we do have some funding. It is not the funding that we feel that is necessary for our citizens, especially during the time of Milton, which is on its way. We don't know what kind of damage that's going to do. So we want to put extra funding into our funding purse so that we can take care of any situation that may arise. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you say that? Do I need to be House Speaker? I can't be House Speaker because I'm not about to lie to my people because of the fact that, God dang it, I'm a part of a party that's in office. I can't do it. But if I can articulate that off the drop of a hat, why couldn't you? Why did you need to go around looking like Big Boy from Dick Tracy, spewing a bunch of nonsense? In case y'all don't know, this is what Corinne looked like. She looked like Big Boy from Dick Tracy. Yeah, Shane. Yeah. But Kareem lies and she says that things aren't happening that are happening. They wasn't lying about it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, right? They've been telling the truth all up until the time to run for president. So let's go here with it. We're going to hear Kareem lie through her teeth, and then we're going to go jump back to 2022, excuse me, where she was actually telling the truth about what was going on. Since it's misinformation, disinformation, right? So you gotta shut it down by bringing out the receipts, the whole invoice on their ass.
It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request.
We're going to run it back.
It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants. It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief.
So, which one is misinformation, disinformation? You from 2 years ago or you from earlier this month? Tell me now. Pick one. Because it's ridiculous. 100% ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as this next bit I want to show you, because your girl here, they're desperate, family. They're desperate. They're so desperate that they're talking down to the victims. What? But that's not even the biggest desperation. I'm going to show you the biggest desperation that I've seen this week. But let's get into this real quick.
Folks in North Carolina and Georgia, please know that FEMA and the people on the ground are there to help you. You are entitled to help. There's a lot of misinformation, and I beseech you, I beg you to please not pay attention to it, because there are a whole lot of folks who are there to give you help and aid in terms of the immediate aftermath and what people need to do in terms of getting through the height of this emergency and this crisis, but also in terms of long-term folks in
family. Do you think anybody in North Carolina, Georgia, or anywhere else that's hit by a natural disaster decides, you know what? I'm not going to go after the disaster relief. I'm good enough. I'm fine. My house may be destroyed and my car may be totaled. I may be hundreds of dollars out of pocket because food's spoiled, but I'm fine. I don't need it. I'm not going to go for it. How many people you heard say that? How many people you heard say, oh my God, all this stuff that Trump is talking about with the FEMA, I might as well not even apply. Even if someone says something like that, people, especially black people, will continue to what? Be on their head until you figure out where's the funding. Pause to that. We're going to be on your neck until the funding is released and you give it to us. But if you're denying people back to back, then what do you think is happening with these people? Don't worry, I'll wait. It's not the person's responsibility to continuously have to wag a finger at you to do what's right for their community. Actually, it is. But it's not their responsibility to uphold the perception that you're out there doing something right when you're not. So Kamala has been in this bind. She just don't know what to do. Kamala's lost in the sauce, I guess you could say. She's trying to figure it out. And you know, the Shills, they're trying to help her figure it out. They're trying their hardest to put some notoriety on her name. Because black folks ain't rocking with Kamala Harris. And we're letting it be known. We're letting it be shown. Oh my God, how great we've grown. So now Democratic shills are running around here paying these Instagram fan pages to start creating narratives for Kamala. So now, apparently out of nowhere, Aaliyah and Kamala are cousins. Yes, family, yes, soak it in, the disrespect. If you guys didn't know, Aaliyah and Kamala Harris are cousins. Now, Aaliyah is not here to claim that. And Aaliyah's mother has never claimed that. So, what's going on here? I'll tell you what's going on. The Democratic shills, the Demo-rats, they know how much Black America loved them some Aaliyah. They know how much we love her. They know how much we love to rock the boat, work the middle, change positions, new position. They know how much we love reading that 4-page letter. And so they say, you know what? We need to link her because we don't have anybody who can come out and actually, because we've been saying this, we've been calling it out. Where are her black cousins? Where are her black aunties? Where's her black uncles? You're not seeing anyone come out saying, yeah, I'm Jamaican, I'm black, Kamala's my cousin. Here's the paperwork right here to prove it. Here's the bloodline, the family tree. I go back to this person here, and she goes back to this person here, and we're cousins. So now they have to establish someone that we love to be attached to this woman that we don't. Now, I don't know who chose Aaliyah, but that was one of the most god-awful lies that you can even produce. I don't even think you should have been paid for it, if you were. But yeah, family, they're getting highly desperate. Kamala ain't looking too good. She ain't looking too good. She ain't looking too good. She's out here getting called out by the black grassroots. And now she's getting called out by the white grassroots. This is where Kamala Harris is. And for every Democratic shill running around here yapping their mouth, talking about, well, Kamala's not responsible for this. She's not responsible. Yes, she is. She's absolutely responsible for it. Her and Biden, they're both responsible. And they both have to lay in the dirty ass bed that they made or left unmade, to be more specific. But family, these are the breaks. With that being said, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, hit that link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, we are. And as long as we continue to be feet to the ground, head held to the sky, the universe will continue to move in our favor and show the world why you don't mess with us. And when it comes to Kamala Harris, she don't believe fat meat is greasy. When it comes to the Democratic Party, they don't believe fat meat is greasy. Hell, when it comes to the Republican Party, they don't believe fat meat is greasy. Well, I grew up in a town where my uncle owned a bunch of little fat burger restaurants. So I know firsthand how much grease is in that fat. And family, I was supposed to drop a video earlier today, a video going over the Breakfast Club interview with Byron Donalds and Angela Cry. However, due to some technical issues, which are now taken care of, there was no sound in any of the clippings. So I'm going to have to go back and redo that one. So you'll be getting this one tonight, and you'll be getting the breakdown of the Breakfast Club sometime this weekend. The Diddy video is coming up this weekend as well. And then I have the Eric Adams video coming next week. So keep an eye out for those things, family. Keep an eye out. And also, keep your eyes open, family. Keep your eyes open. Because left and right, they keep coming with a new excuse and a new lie. And we got to continue to be the people to call their asses out for both. And with that being said, family, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
So you know how those lids are, because this is, well, I'm just going to speak, okay? So this is it. So you know how those lids on those Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, and so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid? So that was that conversation.